SEC leader, Fan Radio Network, and KFAN.com. We'll go with 2 minutes, and we'll call it 20 seconds past the hour, 3 o'clock Central Standard Time. Welcome back, Monday edition of the Bumper to Bumper program, and we are delighted you are along for today's, I'm assuming, 3.5-hour ride, 3.5-hour tour. Barrero and Gardsey will be with you. We will be with you until then. Bradshaw and Brian, KFAN text line will be rebooted shortly. And that, of course, that number is 646-646-86. There were so many dimensions to Wild Card Weekend, which is not quite done tonight.
That's right.
Right here on the Fan. Maybe? No.
No.
Oh. The Pittsburgh Steelers are hosting, as underdogs, I believe, the Houston Texans, correct? Aren't the Texans favored?
They are, I think, by 3. We have Wild Hockey tonight on the Fan. That game will be on the plus.
Oh, the playoff game will be on the plus.
Yep.
It's not that the Wild will be on the plus.
Correct.
Fallness, his teeth would fall out if we ever announced that the Wild were on the plus, even though the plus is a wonderful brand.
It's great.
As far as I'm concerned. Good reminder there, and good for the hockey ambassador to know that the Wild will be back in action tonight. Many dimensions to the game, Wild Card Weekend game, matching the two NFC North rivals, the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. We explored many of them yesterday. They'll probably be explored more today, maybe even for the next few days, given the dimensions potentially of and the ramifications of that improbable, historic Chicago Bears comeback. But there was one I hadn't really thought of yesterday that does, in a sense, localize, one could say, the story, because we are your Vikings leader. We are your Minnesota Vikings station. We're devastated that the seasonal boost is now over, but it is. It's undeniable, correct? KOC, to me, I know we love him. I know he's the quarterback whisperer. I know he has helped to build the most nourishing culture in all of, certainly National Football League, maybe all of pro sports. I don't know.
Check the athletic survey.
All that stuff might well be true. But as far as I'm concerned, as of Saturday night about midnight, KOC is OTC, as in on the clock. It's undeniable. We can run from it, but we can't hide. We have to acknowledge it. We have to face our fears. We have to look it in the face and say, there is one coach in the National Football Conference North who has yet to win a single playoff game. Not one. I hadn't played in that many, but how many years is this? Was this his fourth year or his fifth?
I think this was 4.
Is this year 4?
Yeah.
I think I have the numbers right. The suddenly under siege Matt LaFleur has a career playoff record now of 3-6, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that includes the loss Saturday night. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. Packer haters for sure. Not a great record, but 3 victories. Dan Campbell has a career coaching, postseason coaching record of 2-2.
And that's a fact.
Hasn't gotten to the Super Bowl yet. So I'm not ready to put him in Canton yet, but he has won a pair of playoff games. And, of course, Saturday night, Ben Johnson, in his first attempt as a head coach to win a playoff game, somehow, improbably, borderline impossibly, orders his team. That's good coaching, by the way. You order your team to score 25 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's a smart move.
Which I believe is, I think, second or third for a single quarter in the history of the postseason. It's some absurd number. And I think they became only the 4th team in playoff history to be trailing by 15 or more points in the fourth quarter and win. He's 1-0 in the postseason. That leaves our guy. 0-2. And let's be honest about something. Can we be frank here today? This is the time of year, man. This is it. This is what matters. And we can argue about whether quarterbacks get too much of the credit and too much of the blame if they don't win postseason games, or what their postseason record is, etc. Because football is, after all, a team game, and a coach is limited at times by the talent that is offered him, that he has to work with. But you could sense it the entire weekend, unless you totally try to disconnect yourself, which I don't even think is possible anymore.
And would have been a mistake. You would have missed a lot of fun.
Mistake. 5 games in the books. One fairly, you could say, pedestrian one last night.
Yeah.
But ironically, even that game was a one-score game until the fourth quarter. I mean, it wasn't, I don't know that you felt like the Chargers had a comeback in them, but it was 9-3, wasn't it, until they scored a touchdown later?
Right.
And every other game was outstanding theater.
Spine tingler.
Just tremendous. Comeback after comeback. Punch after counterpunch. There's a reason that the ratings go through the roof in the postseason. There's a reason when everybody feels as if they're a part of something that no other sport can match. It's where you make your name as a team and as a head coach. And we haven't done anything in the postseason. Not only have we not done anything, we weren't even competitive in the game last year. And we lost at home to a very beatable New York Giants team. The first playoff game he had, correct?
Yes.
Got Daniel Jones' contract.
We did.
In effect. So I think that's got to be the message. If I'm the Wilfs, that's the message. Love the culture, love a lot of things you do. But come on, man. This is when it feels really good to be connected to the National Football League. And it's just factual. It can't be denied. One coach in this division left now who has not tasted victory in the postseason. And to Ben Johnson's credit, he did it first time around. Again, in ridiculous fashion. Could you possibly have predicted it at the half? I wouldn't have, for sure. But he clearly has managed to fashion, with a second-year quarterback, you want to talk about quarterback whisperer? Shouldn't that be more Ben Johnson right now than KOC? Year 2. With a quarterback who was much maligned a year ago.
Big time.
An offense that was mediocre much of last season. They're now doing routinely stuff that, and I can testify to this because I grew up. Little Danny Barrero grew up with the Bears. They're doing things offensively. I mean, what they did, I mentioned this on sermons, what they did in the fourth quarter yesterday is so far beyond the imagination of little Danny Barrero. It's not even funny. 25 points in what? A quarter? Could I get 25 points in a month? And you're going to, wait a minute, you're going to do it passing the ball for 300 and what? Your quarterback's going to make those throws that we associate with other teams? So Ben Johnson should feel very good about himself. Bears fans should feel very good about their team because the first time their coach got into the postseason, they've advanced. They may lose this week, but they've already got a victory. So I'm not putting the head coach here on double secret probation, but maybe I am. I don't know. I want to see it, don't you? It stands out now even more that the outcome went the way it did in Chicago Saturday night.
You say on the clock. I would say, has time run out?
Well, yeah.
Has Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, are they taking over the division? They may very well be. He looked unbelievable. Again, they've looked unbelievable all season, and he just got there. They haven't been able to build the team in his vision yet.
No.
Right?
That's correct.
They've, I'm sure, had some big free agents, especially on the offensive line. Who knows what's going to go on with the Packers?
And their free agents actually played and didn't get hurt and aren't all 35 years old.
Who knows how John Harbaugh coaching the Packers next year will, fortify them.
Is that official?
No, it's not. And I think there's even a report that they're still working things out with LaFleur. So he might be coming back, but They're going to be formidable. We know that the Lions are probably going to be decent. So this could be very scary. And what's the Vikings' move, right? It's your move, Vikings. You got to get back into the conversation. Because the division hasn't slowed down any.
No, I mentioned yesterday, I don't necessarily think there's all great teams in the division, but there's no weak teams in the division anymore. The Lions aren't going away. The Packers still have a lot of ability, regardless of who ends up coaching, right? The Bears are clearly emerging. Their defense still needs a lot of work, but they're emerging, so they're not going to go away. So you've got to figure this quarterback thing out this offseason. You have to, one way or the other. There are a couple of ideas that have been hatched on the post as a result of Wild Card Weekend. We'll get to those in a minute.
The Fan wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It is back, our national cash contest, and the first keyword of the show this week is dollar. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword dollar.
Guest lineup for today, as I understand it. You can correct me if I am wrong. But Johnny Athletic is scheduled for 5:30 this evening.
Yes, sir.
Ben Lieber is going to give us some bonus time, even though we told him he could have a few weeks off if he wanted. So he's going to join us at his usual time, his customary time at 4:47. Kyle Potter, Thrifty Traveler MN, is going to join us 4 o'clock. Is that correct?
4:02, yep.
With the big announcement, big airline announcement that has no small impact here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Am I forgetting anybody?
That's what we have.
That's what we have right now.
Yes.
Now, a couple people had texted yesterday, are you guys going to try to get Gerby going today? I'm skeptical that we'd be able to, but stay tuned. Anything's possible on our program. We'll let you know if we think we have any shot. Obviously, there's a lot of schadenfreude going on right now when it comes to the Packers and Gerby in particular.
I do know he said changes will be made.
Well, he also vowed that he wasn't going to be on with us for the prediction segment Friday because we're going to be too mean to him. #sadism.
I didn't see that.
We're very, very vicious, too mean, and we're not very kind to him in a situation like this, like he would be.
Right. Very gracious.
To us, so.
Very gracious. Have you seen the video circulating, by the way? It's like 10 minutes.
No.
Of basically every Green Bay Packer podcaster that does like a live watch party.
Yes.
Just a synopsis of all of them as the game's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, and at first everything's going
contrast,
great.
Yes.
And then at the end of it, it's pretty good. I didn't get through all of it. It's pretty good. It's mean because people are going through it, man, as you can imagine. They are absolutely going through it as that game is unfolding. But it's very entertaining. And I listened to your sermons yesterday. I did listen to Packer Wine Line on Saturday night.
Was it entertaining?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tremendous. And then I did listen to Packer Preview, in which I thought the fellas did a really good job of balancing their raw emotion and frustration with pretty good professionalism.
Here's the way I would put it on, and I don't want to spend too much time on Packer Wine Line, but regarding the future of their head coach, I would say that I think he's a good coach. I actually do. So I would not be offended if the Packers said, no, we're going to do some tweaks and maybe we're going to challenge him on a couple of things and maybe we're going to challenge him heavily on a couple of position coaching decisions, whatever, but we're going to hang with him. On the other hand, after a monumental choke and collapse that is that thorough, I would not have any problem if they said that this can't be allowed to stand. We're going to have to go a different direction. I guess especially if, a stable, already established head coach is available and there's one named John Harbaugh whose name keeps coming up. Now, they may not be that's the only place he's interested in, but that you lose that way, and actually twice, really, 3 weeks apart, but this time in the postseason.
Right.
I mentioned yesterday that that's a hard game to come back and win. It's a harder game to lose. That's really hard to lose that game. Now you could say, well, it was only 18 points. Dan. Yeah, but it went well beyond, I think, the 18 points. Because in the second half, you could argue the Bears didn't have the horseshoe. The Packers had the horseshoe when it came to leaving aside the kicking for a minute, which is a big horseshoe.
The whole thing, yeah.
But just talking about the available fumbles that the Bears needed badly and didn't get, the balls they didn't recover. So I'm fine with that either way. There's a lot of very defensive Vikings fans who are checking in here, reminding me that the Vikings were 4-2 in the division in 2025. You want to raise a banner to that, boys and girls? Do you really? And one of the victories was the last week when the Packers didn't play anybody.
And we should have beat the Bears twice.
Yeah, exactly. Or on the other hand, the Bears could say, well, we should have beat you twice.
That's true.
Because the fourth quarter, we make one more play in the fourth quarter, you don't win the game.
But 9 was there that night to open the season.
9 was there that night, wasn't he?
He
That's
was.
very true. This is, I mean, you can be defensive all you want, and you can say, well, Caleb Williams was the number 1 overall pick. How much credit are you going to give the head coach? A lot. Because if we've learned anything, see, it's funny how the whole subject changes. When Caleb was struggling, it was, you know what? He might not be the best quarterback in that group after all. There may be some issues. Now, as he's emerging, it's, well, don't forget, number 1 overall pick. So which is it? He's obviously talented, but he was a mess a year ago. Was that a function of experience or was that a function of coaching? I think it probably was a little bit of both. I'm just telling you, I like the quote that came in from Jared in Aztec, New Mexico. You want to change the conversation, win some games. It's the same with all the quarterback second guessing. You want people to stop talking about why didn't you lock in with Aaron Rodgers for a year? Why didn't you find a way to franchise Darnold? Why didn't you find a way to make sure Daniel Jones really felt he'd have a shot at the starting position? You want all that to go away? Have better results in your quarterback room. It's as simple as that. I've said this from the beginning. If McCarthy had emerged big time this season, there'd be a lot less conversation about that. In fact, because they'd say, well, actually, the Vikings are ahead because they don't have any money invested. They have the advantage of being able to spend the money elsewhere, and this kid's young, and he's only going to get better. But not enough good happened. So when not enough good happens to a team or in the quarterback room, then all your other options that this year the Vikings happen to have are going to come up. It's just the way of the world. It's just the way the world. That's not just a Minnesota thing. It's the way the world works. Same with coaches. If you're tired of, well, that's a little unfair to say that, he's 0-2. I mean, how many good teams has he really had here? What's his opportunity really been? We're happy for those other coaches. If you change the subject or you change the direction, the discussion goes one way. You got to win more games in the postseason. Because, boys and girls, I'm here to tell you, and I think deep down you know it. January on is what really drives this league. Obviously, it's successful year, from September. We get that. But this is where the money is really made. This is where legends are created. I mean, there were a lot of really good comebacks with 2 minutes to go throughout the regular season, but it feels bigger now. Why? Because you lose and you're done.
One team's going home.
You're either, and the other team is moving on, at least hoping that they can extend for at least one more week or beyond that. It's just a lot bigger, and we've just had nothing to get excited about in that regard. Packers lost 5 double-digit leads in the fourth quarter this year. Browns, Broncos, Bears twice. And there was one other one I didn't recall, maybe the Panthers. There's been a lot of talk about that. Yeah, that's been part of their issue for sure.
They've had some puzzlers.
Now
they are who we think they are.
Yeah, and they too have been decimated by injury. Obviously, they're who was the guy they got? Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons.
He was out.
Their tight end was out.
Tight end is huge. I mean, it was almost like the passing game was built around him until it wasn't because he wasn't available. And don't they have offensive line injury issues too?
Sounds right.
They did.
Yep.
Which again, I said this earlier, many times everybody has them to a certain degree. But I think we got to grade on a tougher curve. I think we got to get past nice guy. Players seem to like to play for him. Atmosphere in there does seem good. It seems that players are responsive to him and he's responsive to players. All that sounds wonderful, and I don't want to throw it out with the bathwater, but it's a results-driven league, I think. And that's the unfortunate position that he is now in with even the Bears, the terrible Bears, the embarrassing monsters of the Midway, now have one more playoff victory with their coach in his first time going to the postseason. Not only that, they had home ice. Of course, I guess you could say we did too, one of the two times, and we squandered it.
Right?
Yes. So I'm just saying, it can't be. This goes, every coach has to deal with this who's been here. Denny had to deal with it. He lost his first 3 playoff games. One and done, 3 straight years before they finally broke through. By the way, we were reminded by not Dan Minnesota. Thursday is a very big anniversary. Even though we've discussed this particular game before, I think it might be 25 years. And 25 years is a big one, isn't it? The 2000, wasn't the NFC title game 41 Donut played in 2001?
Yeah.
It was a 2000 season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
So, Thursday, 25 years.
Do
you think Robert Smith has another appearance on our show on that subject, or do you think he'd say, Dan, I've unloaded on that game too much?
I think we should try Mitch Berger, the punter, who told us that's
a great idea.
In the second quarter, he and Robert Smith were planning their trip to Cabo.
That's a great
He might have a better sense of humor about it.
That's a great idea.
We haven't had him
we haven't talked to Mitch in a long time.
I don't think since the Super Bowl week.
Years.
Here, we had him at Radio Row.
Is that the last time?
Yeah. Among them.
You got to call Gerby. The audience needs to hear from him. Is he alive? Is he doing okay? Well, as I said, I don't know if we. What do you think?
Well,
do you have an opinion?
I've tried him at home. Nobody's
nothing's
answering.
happened yet. Yeah,
I assume he's not at work. I could try him at work, I guess. We could try him. We'll try him at some point.
Right. Dan, the problems with the Vikings this season can be summed up in one word: injuries, especially O-line. Is that a horseshoe thing or a medical training staff problem? I don't think it's either. I think it's, to some extent, well, I shouldn't say that. There's some horseshoe to it, but there's also, I think if we're being honest, now have to say it's who you invest your money in. And in a game that's brutally violent and anybody can get hurt at any time, were you lowering the odds of success when you decided to invest in slightly older than ideal players to see if they have more life in them? And that came to kind of bite them to a certain extent in the butt. I guess that's possible. Any news on B-Flow, by the way? Other than he's one of like 30 head coaching candidates that Baltimore is considering. Is that right?
I think the actual number is 15, right?
It is.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, half of 30, but still a lot. That's a wide range.
That sounds like, remember when the Twins wasn't the Twins' first list like 25 or something, or 18?
I think it was, yeah.
We were all supposed to be impressed by that.
And we ended up with the guy we already knew.
Yes.
Who might be great, and he seems like an awesome guy.
That's true.
Everybody loves Shelty.
Very true. Bottom of the hour break. I want to get to the first wild card weekend talking point. Guardsy's cooked up several very good ones. My vow is I'm going to stay connected to the postseason, with or without the Bears. This has nothing to do with the Bears. I miss it too much, and this weekend has been so good and so compelling that I say we got to double down on it, even if our favorite football team is nowhere to be seen, and the head coach is the only coach in the NFC North that doesn't have a single postseason victory. It's the nature of fandom, I guess, that makes it impossible for people to see past their own noses, or to assume that because it's the way they think and the way they are wired, everybody else thinks the same way. Example, I'm just saying you got to let it play out a little bit, beating your chest because the Bears won a playoff game. It wouldn't matter to me in this case whether it was the Bears or the Tampa Bay Bucks back when they were in the division. The reminder is we're the only team that has a coach that has not won in the postseason, and he's been here 4 years. Believe me, I enjoyed, as a guy who grew up cheering for the Bears, watching Saturday night. I also got done saying they're not ready. Their defense is terrible in many areas. So this isn't about me beating my chest. It's me stating the obvious, one could say, but the truth. We are now left. We have no more interference to deflect from that reality. And you can say, well, they got a good matchup, or the Packers were ready to get beat, or all those things. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's the point of the discussion. Doesn't matter who the last remaining coach was who won it and where he coached. Has absolutely nothing to do with it. Did you say you want to try Gerby one more time?
We should. I mean, we've tried everywhere. We've tried his house. He's not working.
Is this cell? What do we think?
I think so.
Okay, because I don't even know his
sometimes he'll
numbers.
be at a bar.
Yeah, that's
remember
true.
One time we
did get
called
him
him
at a bar. Yeah,
in a bar, and so I don't know. We'll try him.
Let's
on the
try
cell.
it. Let's give it a shot. Can't hurt. I mean, we got nothing to lose at this point. Don't forget Johnny Athletic 530, Kyle Potter, Thrifty Traveler 402. To get to some of the news of the day. Oh, there we go. Hello. Hello. Hello.
At least it's on.
Well, come on. Does he have voicemail? I don't even remember.
Hi, this is Kyle Gabbschmidt's cell phone. I would say thank you for calling, but I'm pretty sure I know that's just that sports station in Minneapolis is calling, and Dan Barrow and Jordan, and they think they're so smart. And I'm not going on your show. You're not going to fool me. You're not going to find me. You're not going to give me the phone. Quit leaving messages.
You got a contract.
No one wants to hear from you. You're just cruel. Because I know you don't want to talk about football. You want to just talk about teasing me and making me feel bad and making me feel like, good people are bad, but we are not. We are good people. Not like that idiot coach from Chicago who won't even shake somebody's hand. And, we heard what you said in the locker room. So don't think you're so damn smart. Look, we're going to make some changes. We'll keep some things the same. We are very intelligent, and
this is outgoing voice.
We will not be as injured next year. So don't leave a message. Don't call back. Quit bothering me. You are now approaching what we call harassment. So stay away. Do not leave a message here. I do not want to hear from you. Go away. But if you call anybody else, leave a message.
I want to leave it. Carl, is there any chance we can get you to call the hotline, KFAN Radio, later tonight? Right during the top 5 at 5 would be ideal.
You know it.
I'm a bit disappointed, and I think a lot of the Vikings fans enjoying this Schadenfreude are too. You sounded, maybe you're medicated, but you almost sounded too relaxed. I think we wanted to hear a little bit more angst in your voice, a little more hurt. Last time you were crying, and I didn't even sense any tears this time. So don't hesitate to call back to your good buddies back at KFAN. We'll talk to you on Friday for the prediction segment, which you are legally required to participate in. Thank you.
All right.
About as much as we could hope for. Didn't he sound rather sedate almost?
Yeah, resigned.
Maybe resigned is the word, yeah. Yeah, that might be true. Sam from Rosemont writes, if Gerby's in Palm Springs, tell him to not yell at any kids at the pool this time.
I forgot about that.
That's a callback. That's a good callback.
Was that last year or 2 years ago?
I think it was last year. You're right. Very, very true, Davey. Should we get to a talking point?
They're there.
We got a bunch of them. I was going to start with the Caleb one because we've been talking a lot about him, but maybe we start with this one because there is potentially, at least being speculated upon, a local angle here regarding this particular outcome and this talking point.
It's second down and 10 for the 42-yard line. Herbert out of the gun, taps his foot. Vidal next to him in the backfield. Herbert drops back to pass. Looks to his right. He's under pressure. He keeps his bearings, and he lost the football. He's sacked, and they're rolling on top of it. The Patriots have recovered at the 45-yard line. Ellis recovers it.
Recovered by the defense.
And Herbert is slow to get up. He has just been battered and bruised.
And he got absolutely hammered that time from the backside from Calevon Chason, and then the front side, it was Elijah Ponder that ended up hitting. The ball gets knocked loose, and New England is over on top of it.
Obviously not well enough, and that's the tough part. And, we have to do better than 3 points. And as an offense, it's not good enough, and quarterback play wasn't good enough, and we let the defense down today.
Wow. We've talked about Justin Herbert on this show over the years.
I think it's aged well.
I even raved about a particular pass in a particular game earlier this season that was one of those where you go, that's a play.
Against us,
it's
probably.
Against us, that's right. That's what
we made him look extremely good that day.
Yes, we did. And he can make some throws where you go, not many guys can make those throws physically. But my issue, I think, is the same as yours. Same related to the postseason. We're talking about KOC. Nothing's happened with this guy. And last night, I think even Collinsworth was disturbed, seeing ghosts. He's got to hang in there more. He's rolling out too fast. That's code for he doesn't want to take the punishment, or he's not yet seeing the field in a way where he's even giving his team a chance to compete in this game. He was a disaster in the postseason last year. Was that against Houston?
Sounds right. I
think
check.
he threw 4 picks. He's 0-3 in the postseason. And I bring him up because there are people, and they know who they are, who have long coveted this kid and who have said, well, Harbaugh coached J.J. McCarthy in college. They celebrated a natty together, correct?
They did.
Maybe he'll start feeling the heat, and he'll be a little disappointed and a little frustrated with what Herbert has done to this point. And maybe what took place last night in Foxborough might be the last straw. Maybe if we go to the Chargers and say, hey, got a deal for you. How about we give you some draft choices and JJ, and we'll take the Justin Herbert headache off of your hands because we've got the quarterback whisperer. I don't want him. I don't want him. Is that too radical? Is that an overreaction to another bad postseason performance? He's had 3 bad playoff performances. The last 2 have been miserable. And he, again, last night did not look interested to me in joining the battle. He really didn't. I didn't think. He just didn't look like he wanted any of the physicality of it. He was a big guy who's actually run pretty well this year.
Yep.
Look, it's a game that we're playing. It's unlikely that anything like that would happen. And again, I get it. He's a big, strapping lad. I mean, he makes J.J. McCarthy look physically like he's 12 years old. And he's got a gun of an arm. And
great
he can
hair.
get the ball plays. He's got great hair. He's got everything. Is he a California kid originally? I don't remember. Where's Justin Herbert from? I can't remember. He looks like he's a California kid, whether he is or not.
This doesn't say. He went to Oregon. I'll look it up. I was looking up his contract.
I don't
know, because let me throw this in there.
The contract, yeah.
His cap hit next season is $46 million. His cap hit the season after is $58 million.
Right? Yeah. Well, you got to love him then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, I play the talking point because it was one of the big stories this weekend. Because the one disappointing game of the 5 played thus far was the one last night, when the one put in prime time Sunday night football.
That's true.
It was you could say, okay, that just turned out to be a defensive struggle, but hell, they got the ball off an interception at the New England 10-yard line.
Right away.
And right away.
Yep.
And you know what he did? He ran, I think there were 3 straight scrambles, and then they went for it on 4th down, and he threw a terrible pass that had no chance to be completed. One of those plays where you're not even giving your receiver a chance to make a play. So regardless of the Vikings connection, if there is such a thing to even consider in a hypothetical way, it will be interesting for me to see what they do with him and what this does to his reputation, because at some point it's got to be about more than looking pretty. Right?
And big numbers.
And big numbers.
In the
Doesn't it? It
regular
has
season.
to be. Well, we were down 14 points. Caleb Williams a little bit, where he just made 4 plays that got us back in the game. And he hasn't done that in the postseason at all.
He did throw 4 picks in the game last year. They got crushed by Houston.
Right.
He is born and raised in Eugene, Oregon. He was a hometown kid to go for the Ducks.
Okay, there you go.
So Pacific
West Coast, yeah.
Yeah, a little West Coast. Got the vibe, got the flavor.
Yeah, for sure. And the look.
Absolutely the look.
46 mil for Herbert is a bargain. Well,
What?
yeah, if you love him,
Yeah.
if you think he can lead you to a Super Bowl, that's very, very true, Davey. But that's my question now is the timing is just doesn't, unless you go with the old new scenery.
Right.
He doesn't like Harbaugh. Harbaugh don't know how to get the best out of him. We got a guy who knows how to get the best out of quarterbacks, even though he didn't really get much of anything out of JJ in year 2 for JJ, year 1, actually, technically. So I don't know. I'll throw that into the mix. A couple people are saying, no, not Herbert, Joe Burrow. They would rather go for Joe Burrow. I would too.
Of those options, I would take Joe Burrow.
I would too. And that's also going to be financially a lot of money, right? What if we keep J.J. McCarthy, give up KOC, and get Jim Harbaugh? Well,
I think I like that less.
Yeah. Harbaugh, this time around, has not been successful. Well, let's
He's
back
gotten
up.
him to the playoffs twice.
And they were well under 500
Yes.
the year before. So he's coached well.
No doubt.
But postseason has been a disappointment. I would think
No doubt.
he would agree.
And if his last stop is any indication, he's about at the point where he's going to start cheating massively. So that should help.
But he has already enough of a track record where he
Big
has
time.
built-in equity that our guy does not have. Somebody texted earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Patriots did a great job. What's your point? Fire KOC? My point is not to call for his head, but to say we can't. I'll just put it this way. Any other coach 4 years in, with the up and down nature of the 4 seasons and a lack of any playoff success, including losing to an inferior team in the first playoff opportunity, would be getting heat. Mike Zimmer would be getting killed, and did, under these conditions. And I'm just looking for a little consistency. I think we've all lost ourselves in this, I hate to use the term narrative, but that's what it is, that everybody wants to play here, everything's wonderful here, we just have to stay the course. That may be. That may be. So, no, I'm not calling for his head, but I'm saying, let's get going. That has to be part of how we evaluate, because it's part of how we evaluate everybody else. Is it not? I certainly think that it is, or that it should be.
By the way, what you're saying here, do you think, like, in that building, they're not feeling the urgency now? Like,
I hope so.
I'm sure KOC's looking at it and going, man, like, Ben
Let me
Johnson
ask you
just pulls
something.
up and wins this game?
As a guy who I think likes locker room stuff more than I do,
Yeah.
I found, for me, and again, he didn't do it for me. I understand that fully. And you can even say he's playing.
Yeah.
But the Ben Johnson bleep the Packers thing did nothing for me.
Well, here's what I'd say about it. If it was 10 years ago and you were just on the Bears,
Yes.
and it wasn't going to be tweeted out 40 minutes after the game. Like, I feel like this stuff has been going on forever and ever and ever.
That's a fair point.
And that's because, again, it's not for us.
But they can decide what gets out and what doesn't, and they clearly wanted to.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. So it does. Like, to me, it should always be, how does the team feel about it? How do they feel about it?
Right.
Should they keep it private? I mean, I like watching it. I think it's interesting just because I'm interested in that stuff. I'm a rube when it comes to that stuff. I just worry about, like everything else, it becoming performative because so much of it now is being processed, edited, and sent out. In a way that we want it. That's part of our brand now. Yeah.
I guarantee you that somebody with A-Rod's group, because there was one the other night with Finchy, and I guarantee you somebody said, hey, we got to get everybody else is doing these post-game videos of the coach. We got to do that too. I guarantee you that's, and I just don't want it to become so performative that it's at that point starts to,
that's fair,
meaning a little less.
But with a lot of these guys, I think that is what they would say, cameras on or cameras off. I don't know if a lot of coaches are thinking about the cameras as much.
Well, that may be true.
Like when Jimmy Johnson did, how about them Cowboys?
Well, for Bears fans, they all related to it because that's how it's like, hey, that's our guy.
Yep.
That's our guy right there. Well, I will add this, and this might sound like a contradiction. One of my beefs about Caleb from the moment he was drafted is that what I observed, again, from afar, was somebody who seemed to float above it all. Like, even with teammates, like, he was not connecting to any of it. Chicago, the Bears, the whole bit, the history. And after the game, you saw what he did after the game, right? He did the cheese grater routine.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to me, that's where he actually won me over that, okay, he's being silly with it, and it always seemed like before he was afraid to get silly with it, and it's now like he's arrived in a sense that he becomes more relatable to everybody, that I'm in this, all right, I'm in this, I'm going to be in all of it, even the stuff that I think is kind of silly. So in a sense, I'm contradicting myself, because you could say that's exactly what the head coach was doing, just being silly.
I thought his post-game interview on the field was outstanding.
It was. It was tremendous.
I thought it was as good as it gets to what you're talking about. Absolutely connecting with everything and talking about the team and how they go about their business and how they believe in each other. And that didn't seem...
Well, and how we got to play... Wait, he didn't just say we have to play better. He got very specific because I think he was smart enough, his eyes are open enough to say... We keep playing like that. We're probably asking for trouble. That's music to the ears of a coach.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Remind me of 9. Remind me of 9 when he gets in front of the microphone for sure. Kwesi is the problem. We get a lot of that, not KOC. What I'm saying has nothing to do with who's the problem. What I'm saying has to do with this is the regime. And the regime has to ultimately be about results. And make no mistake, the Vikings' approach and decisions at the quarterback position, I should say, that's not the general manager. There's no one in their right mind can possibly believe that. That's KOC's decision. That's his approach. That's his philosophy that's reflected. And right now, again, it's not over for McCarthy. I don't think, but it's not very good today. It's not very encouraging, I guess, is the way I should put it. I'm looking at breaking news from the A section. Attorney General Keith Ellison, the mayors of both Minneapolis and St. Paul, and it sounds as if they've announced that a lawsuit has been filed against the Department of Homeland Security to stop ICE operations in Minnesota. We'll try to see if we can get a little more information on that and where that might go. And strategically speaking, what kind of impact might that have? Our guy, Andy Luger, would be great to talk to today. Unfortunately, I don't think he's available right now. But that's the breaking news. I see a press conference being carried live by Fox 9. And it looks like Ellison's taking questions, and I'm assuming getting specific about where that lawsuit will be filed. And my question is obviously how quickly it could be acted upon. And then, let's be honest, how likely is it that anybody in the federal government's going to pay any attention to it? Because that's been more than half the battle to this point. Top of the hour pause. Thrifty Traveler guy Kyle Potter on some breaking airline news, aviation news, in which the Twin Cities has a big stake. That's next.